All right, you have to hear this story. We're talking about a massive, and I mean massive, accidental source code leak from Anthropic. You know, the company that's famous for being one of the most secretive, safety-first players in the entire AI game. Well, things went a little sideways. And the irony is just perfect. A company that built its entire brand on being safety first, the one that champions keeping AI closed source, yeah, they just accidentally published their most valuable secrets for the whole world to see. You really can't make this stuff up. So this really puts it all into perspective, right? On one side, you've got the image Anthropic projects, safety first AI, closed source advocate. And on the other, the messy reality, a huge security breach, the entire code leaked. It just goes to show you, even a company with that kind of valuation is just one tiny mistake away from a total disaster. So the question on everyone's mind is, how? How on earth does something like this even happen? Let's get into the anatomy of this breach. Right, so how does a multi-billion-dollar company just leak its own source code? You'd think it was some sophisticated hack, maybe an inside job, right? Nope. The truth is actually much simpler, and it all comes down to one little file that was never, ever supposed to see the light of day. The culprit is something called a source map. Now, if you're not a developer, don't worry. Just think of it like a cheat sheet for code. It turns the messy, jumbled code a computer reads back into the clean, human-readable stuff the programmers actually wrote. It's a super useful tool for debugging, and it is absolutely the last thing you ever want to make public. So here's the chain of events, plain and simple. Someone accidentally included a 57 megabyte source map file in a public software package. And inside that one file, the jackpot, over 500,000 lines of the complete, readable source code for their Claude Code tool. And just like that, the secret recipe was out. And you know how the internet works. Once a secret that big gets out, it does not stay secret for long. It erupted, spreading like an absolute wildfire. The speed was just breathtaking. Look at this timeline. The leak happens at 4 a.m. Minutes later, a security researcher spots it. By the time Anthropic's legal team in San Francisco had their morning coffee, the code was everywhere, mirrored, cloned, and spread all over the internet. The cat wasn't just out of the bag, it was already in a different solar system. But here's where the story takes another wild turn. The open source community didn't just passively download and look at the code. Oh no, they immediately got to work, taking it apart, reverse engineering it, and building on top of it. And the result was a project called Claude Code, a community rebuilt version of the leaked project. It absolutely exploded, becoming one of the fastest growing projects on GitHub ever. We're talking over 50,000 stars in no time. This wasn't just a leak, it was the birth of a whole open source movement. Okay, so the code is out in the wild. But what did it actually show us? This is where we get to the really good stuff, the secrets hidden inside Claude's blueprint. This is the key question, right? Did we discover some kind of alien superintelligence, a revolutionary new form of AI? Well, the answer is a lot more human than that, and frankly, way more interesting. The first huge revelation, Claude Code isn't some magical black box. At its heart, it's a really complex but understandable system that analysts have started calling a dynamic prompt sandwich. It's an 11-step process that takes your request and wraps it in all these different layers of instructions and context before it ever even gets to the AI. The code is filled with these massive hard-coded text files that are basically just begging the AI to behave, to stay on topic, and to not do anything weird. The bottom line is, this leak turned a competitive mystery into an open blueprint for anyone to copy. Now this next secret, it's pretty wild. It shows a surprisingly clever and defensive side to Anthropic. They had built in poison pills designed to sabotage anyone trying to steal their work. So the goal here was to stop competitors from training their own AIs on Claude's answers. And the method? Claude was instructed to talk about software tools that don't actually exist. This means any competing model trained on that data would learn false information, effectively poisoning their own system. It's a fascinating and almost paranoid corporate strategy. The secrets don't stop there either. The code also revealed something they called undercover mode, which is a feature designed to make the AI's output seem a lot more human. The code explicitly tells Claude to never mention its own name or identify itself as an AI in certain outputs, like code commit messages. Now, the official reason given is to prevent internal model names from leaking out. But
A lot of people are speculating the real purpose is to allow them to secretly contribute AI-generated code to open source projects without anyone knowing.
Maybe one of the most damaging parts of this, for Anthropic, wasn't even the existing code. It was what it revealed about their future, their entire unreleased product roadmap.
It was all just laid out in the code. We're seeing code names for unannounced models like Capybara, references to Opus 4.7, and even something called Daemon Mode. There's Buddy, which seems to be a customizable Tamagotchi-style AI companion, and Shyas, a background agent that works for you on a schedule. This is the kind of stuff worth millions, and now it's just public knowledge.
So when you put all of this together, what does it really mean? It really feels like we're witnessing a moment where the whole illusion of AI magic has been shattered.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The big reveal here is that today's cutting-edge AI isn't some unknowable godlike intelligence. It's a complex, clever, and often messy combination of traditional programming and just incredibly detailed instructions. It's brilliant engineering, not magic. So ultimately, this whole thing leaves us with 3 key takeaways. First, a huge lesson in vulnerability. Even a multi-billion-dollar company is just one mistake away from disaster. Second, we got this unprecedented moment of transparency, a real look under the hood. And finally, it's a huge reality check, demystifying AI and showing us the prompt spaghetti that holds it all together. And all this leaves us with one final massive question. With the blueprint for one of the world's top AI tools now open to everyone, what happens next? Does this accelerate open source development, or does it just give competitors a free pass? The one thing we know for sure is that the race just got a whole lot more interesting.